Hello and welcome to my Terraria console exclusive bonus episode. This entire episode will be dedicated to showing off a lot of the console exclusive content that will no longer be in the game after 1.3 has been released sometime in the near future. Let's start off with pets. Now, all of these pets had a chance to drop from console exclusive enemies that were just reskin versions of other enemies that already existed in the game and in PC, and some of them and they also had chances of being dropped or found in chests. Now, starting off, the slime. It comes out of this petri dish here, is what it's called. Summons a slime pet, or pet slime. And it's this blue little slime right here that follows you around. I think he even flies after you if you get out of the area. He kind of has little sparkles. Comes after you when you're out of range. So that's the slime. Next, the cabbage. The cabbage drops from the Dragon Snatcher. It's also a console exclusive enemy, also found in chests. So let's get him out. This is the guinea pig. He probably also flies too, if I remember right. Yep, sparkles, about the same look as the slime. Next, the beeswax can drop from dragon hornets or found in chests. He does a pretty good job catching up to you. I don't know if you can actually outrun him. So that's him, a little tiny bee there. Next we have the brain, which has a chance of dropping from the groom, which is a variant of zombie that spawns during the blood moon. Here you go, you get it's just a regular old zombie. He might have a move too. Yeah, it's the same kind of sparkle effect when you outrun him. Moving on to the vial of blood, which can be dropped from vampire miners, or also found in chests, and it spawns this little bat here. He also looks like he follows you along pretty closely. And finally, we have probably the hardest one to get, and it's the wolf fang. It's to spawn in a werewolf, a pet werewolf, to follow you around. I think he even has the sparkly effect too, yep. And this one's harder to find because you can only get him from werewolves, or you can find him in chests, but I don't find him that much. I find him more from the werewolves, but only on a full moon is when werewolves spawn, so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. So anyway, that's all of the pets, and from what I've heard on the Wikipedia of the next update coming out, is all these pets will be removed from the game. They will not carry over, but it has a little note down here that does say that they may be looked into in the future to see if they really want to keep them around or whatnot. But so far, they will be removed from the game, so these 6 pets will no longer exist, or at least until they decide to release them in the future. So let's move on to weapons. So first on the weapons list, we have the Sharanga. Now the Sharanga is it can be attained in pre-hard mode. It will cost you 40 Hellstone bars, which I have right here, and I'll show you how to make it, or how you could make it. Later, when this episode's released, it will no longer apply. So I'll try to refer to things kind of as past tense, or I may refer to them. So you need to make 2 Molten Fury bows, and to make Molten Fury you have to have 15 Hellstone bars. So that's 30 of it there. So once you make the 2, the option for this will appear. You take 2 bows and then 10 bars to make the Sharanga. So now this is the one I got. I'm kind of hoping to try to get the ones that are just default, but you know, that's all gamble. It gives you whatever. Just to kind of show you exactly what it does. But from here it says 35 range damage, transforms any suitable ammo into spectral arrows. Now, I have just plain wood arrows on me, as you can see, just a stack. So let me shoot off a couple of these and see if I can get, there we go, a spectral arrow to drop. So the spectral arrows are a console exclusive arrow. They do 16 range damage on their own, plus, you know, whatever you do with what I got, as I just got a hasty one. So that's the Sharanga. Let's move on to the next one. So the next weapon I will be making is depends on how you pronounce it. I guess Tizona or Tizona. It requires 12 hallowed bars to make an Excalibur, and then once you have an Excalibur, it requires 15 Souls of Blight, which are the yellow ones that are console exclusive when you beat Ocram. That's his version of them. And then you'll need 15 either adamantite bars, which is what I have, or titanium. I have adamantite, so I have 15 of those. I have enough souls already, so let's make this Tizona or Tizona, however you pronounce it. So this one is just a regular melee sword. It does 55 damage, base damage. It also has a chance to cause bleeding. So it's not very fast. It's pretty slow. It is automatic. Or it was automatic anyway, but it doesn't shoot out any projectiles. So it's not too strong considering that you have to beat one of the end game bosses to get, but it does have a chance to cause bleeding, and I'm not sure exactly. I'll test it out later and see how it does against enemies and what the bleeding actually does. So let's move on to the next one. So next on the list we have the Tobangiri, or Tobangiri. First you have to make the Gunyer, which is this, it's a spear, or lance, or however you want to call it, with hallowed bars, so it's just kind of like the Excalibur for the last one. You have to make this first, and then it becomes available when you have 15 Souls of Blight. It's the same as before, I think all of them are the same, and 15 adamantite bars, which is what I have. So you can make the Tobangiri, and our Tobangiri, however you pronounce it. It's 50 melee damage, a legendary Japanese spear coated with venom, or coated in venom, I mean. So let's make that. I just got a regular one. That's great, because I want the base ones because I want to use them with the armor later, and we'll see what the increase kind of gives. So far I've gotten 2 of them that are regular. So we'll test this out later. This one also doesn't do a whole lot of damage based on how you have to beat the last guy. So let's get on with the last weapon here. So the last weapon will be the Vulcan Repeater. And in order to make that, it's the same as before. You have to make a Hallowed Repeater with 12. And then once you do that, you'll be available to make the Vulcan Repeater, which is the same as before, 15 of those 2. And this one transforms any suitable ammo into Vulcan Bolts, which is also a console exclusive arrow. So I'll shoot that off a couple of times and we'll see. Let's see what one I got. Good, also just a regular one. So let's shoot that off a couple of times and see if I can get a hold of a Vulcan Bolt. So unfortunately I can't seem to get the Vulcan Bolts to drop because they explode on impact. So I went ahead and looked it up, and they do 12 range damage and they have a very strong knockback. That's pretty much all the information it gives on those. So that's it for the weapons. We'll see them in action here in a little bit. I'll take out some Eye of Cthulhu's with them. So those are the 4 weapons, and let's move on to armor. So here I am standing next to my armor stands. I have all but one piece of each of the 3 console exclusive armors. Right now I'm missing the head of 2 and the legs of 1, and I'll show you how they used to be made. They're quite expensive. These ones I actually attained from defeating Ocram, which you get an 11% chance for one of the pieces of any of them to drop upon defeating him. And that's where I ended up getting all these 6 pieces so far, so I'm just missing 3. But I will show you how to make the heads and the legs of the ones that I'm missing. So that way you can see how much of a pain it was, or it used to be. So let's start off by making the dragon head. So let's go over here. The dragon head, this is how it used to be made, and I believe with the chest and the legs you actually have to have souls of the mechanical bosses. So like with, and in the case of the legs, you actually do. So I think the legs and the chest piece requires, I was kind of hoping to have one of each, but it just, the way it gave me 2 heads and legs. I was kind of hoping to have 1 legs, chest, and a head, but this is how I got it. So, with the other ones, yeah, you did need the Souls of Sight for the Ranger set. You needed the Souls of Might for the Dragon Armor, which is the melee set. And then you needed the Souls of Fright for the Mage set. So let's start off by just making the dragon head, the dragon mask. It says you need to have one of each of these helmets, and it has to be these ones. I believe they did make it where you could change the adamantite to titanium, but other than that, you had to have a world that had cobalt and mithril. But you'd have to make a hollow mask, and you have to make it also with the helmets. They were specific to the damage that they put out. So you had to actually have, to make the dragon one, since it's a melee set, you had to have a melee set of each of these armors. So you had to have the melee version of the hallowed armor, the melee of the cobalt, the mithril, and the adamantite, which I do have and made. And you had to have 15 souls of blight. So let's make that and get that done. So now that's that complete set. I have all of the dragon armor. And then it's the same for the spectral armor. It requires one of each of the mage sets of these armors, which I have. I've went and dug out all that. It's kind of a pain to get all this materials. And this is how it used to be. But now I've heard that they're going to be putting them in. They're going to keep these in the game, actually, but they're going to make them vanity items. If you've already got them in the game, when the update comes out, they will make them vanity items. Or they will make them available, if you don't have them now, they'll make them available as a rotating stock in the traveling merchant, is what I've been reading. So let's make that one, and then this one actually requires, like I said, the Souls of Sight. And I believe the chest piece is even required. So it's quite a lot of materials to make all these. So let's get all those made and done. It actually put the legs on me and the head. So let's get all those off me and put them on the proper stands here, and then I may even start taking off. Actually, let's keep the dragon set for now. And let's put all these on the stand. So let's put it on there real quick just to kind of show you what it looks like completed. So these are all the armors completed. Let's take off with the dragon first. So let me take off my Ocram mask so you can see like the finished. So this is the dragon armor. The dragon armor, let's look at the stats. It gives you 26, so I went from 0 to 60, so it gives you 60 defense. I have nothing on me that does any kind of extra bonus defense. So it does 60 on its own. 26 from the mask was quite good. So the set bonus is 21% increased melee and movement speed. So, let's get a sword out and see. This one was actually quite slow before, but look how fast it's going now. Actually has pretty fast speed. And let's see what the what does it do now? 65. So I believe that's an increase of 10 that it gave it with the armor. So if I actually take off a piece of the armor, no, I guess it was 57. I thought it said 55 before. So it gives you a little bit of a pretty good, increase there. So 8, that's all right. So increased movement speed is pretty nice, and the melee, which also helps with this sword since it's so slow. So let's move on to the next set. So this is the Titan armor. This is what you look like in the whole Titan armor. You get that little effect. If you can see it, I got it zoomed in so you can see better. So this is the entire set put on. You get 45 defense. I'll let you look over all the individual stats. I won't read through all of that. But the set bonus is 28% chance to not consume ammo, which is a pretty good high chance. Especially put that with the ammo box, which gives you 20% as it is. And then each one of these sets, I'm assuming that it stacks. Like these two say 5% chance each not to consume ammo. And then this one also says 5%. So if that's 15 added on, and then you have the ammo box, so that's 15, 20, so 35, and then you have another 28 on top of that. That's pretty good in chance to, let's see what the Vulcan repeater does. 54 damage now, and it did 48 before. So let's see, these all explode on impact, so it doesn't really show you too much. We'll try it out on Aya Cthulhu later. So, moving on to the next. So, last of the armors here, we have the Spectral armor. doesn't seem to have any effect whatsoever. It's just the armor, plain old armor, doesn't do anything cool or have some weird effect. So, it gives you 40 defense. I'll let you look over all the little stats here. But the set bonus is 23% reduced mana usage, which is pretty good. It's a pretty decent amount. So here's the sets. Unfortunately, for some reason, the console exclusive weapons never thought to make a mage one, which is really weird to me because they give you 3 weapons that you require Souls of Blight to make, but they made 2 melee and a range, which I don't understand why they didn't do a melee, a range, and like a magic one. But for some reason, that's the way they made it. I mean, there's 2 range, because I mean, even if you count the Terraria, but that's a pretty hard mode one that doesn't really last you too well in the end game. But even then, it's like, why not make a mage one? But for some reason, they didn't. So let's put this armor away, and I'll go over a couple of other things real quick before we start taking on some Eye of Cthulhu's with some of these weapons and armors. So let's move on to vanity items. So the vanity items, there's only really a couple of things that are console exclusive. The other stuff is only console exclusive in color. So first off, we have, which I already started off wearing, you might have noticed it already, the Ocram mask. It has like a almost a 14.3 chance of dropping from Ocram. And so that will keep in the game. That'll stay in the game as like a legacy item. That and the trophy, which I actually have right here. I can put that on the wall. You can see it from here, but I'll put it on the wall real quick, just so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. So that trophy and his mask will carry over to the next update and everything in the game. So, also you might have noticed too, these wings are also console exclusive. They're called sparkly wings, and they were sold from the Dryad, I believe on full moons or something like that. I can't remember exactly. It was like a special time that you had to be able to buy them. And they were quite expensive too. I believe they were like 40 gold. So those will also be, I believe, removed from the game. Those will no longer exist. So let's move on to the Horn God set, which is actually one of my favorite vanity items from the game. And I'm glad that they're actually keeping it. From what I've heard, they're talking about keeping it in the game. So this is the Horn God set. I actually wore it in my series for a long time after I'd gotten it. It's a little bit difficult to get, but I actually had a good chance. I had a good easy time getting them. It's like a 14.3 chance of each piece dropping. One piece drops from a mechanical boss each. So I believe that the mask drops from Skeletron Prime. The body, I think, drops from Destroyer of Worlds, and then the legs drop from the twins, I believe it is. It's one of those two. Like each piece drops from one or the other, and I think that's the way that it goes. But that's the Horn God set. So next on, and this is what I was talking about, the colored sets. These ones are console exclusive only in their color. And I believe they'll just be removed from the game and they'll just have the regular ones. But you have the Hero's outfit, which is basically Link from Legend of Zelda. And in this version, in the console version, it's purple. But in the PC, it's green. So I haven't heard anything about these ones in specific. So they might be removed entirely and just replaced with the ones from PC. And this is the same said for the Super Mario Brothers one. It's called the Plumber's outfit, but it's the Super Mario Brothers one. But the colors are reversed, so like the overall should be blue, and the hat and the shirt should be red. But it's, for some reason, it's like this in console. So that's it pretty much for the vanity items. I believe now we should just go and see what we can do. Let's see what damage we can do to Eye of Cthulhu. So, here I am. We got a little bit of night left, probably about a third of the night left, so let's get some Eye of Cthulhu fights going. Let's start off with the Terraria. Let's use this on, if I could aim. There we go. So, see, it's turning the regular wooden arrows into these spectral arrows, and it's actually causing this fire effect on him. This green fire. It's actually doing quite a lot of damage too. It's actually a pretty OP bow for pre-hard mode. I believe in my series I actually used it to take out the Wall of Flesh. See, he's already in second form, You can actually just watch his health like tick down too as I'm hitting him. And he's gonna be out. There we go. So he's done. So let's keep moving on here. Let's try the Tizoa. Let's try this out. It doesn't have any shooting ability, so let's just... It says it causes a bleeding effect, which it looks like it's doing. You can see the ones ticking away on his health. I actually don't have any armors on, I'm just doing this. And yeah, it's beating him up pretty good. It's just because it's a melee weapon. I had range before, it's a little bit difficult, but I'm killing him pretty quick, just taking some damage. So yeah, the bleeding effect definitely works here and there. See it ticking away. Okay, so next one. Let's try this Tonmangiri. Come on, where are you at? There you are. So it's actually got quite a lot of range and it's pretty fast. It's not automatic though. Come here. See, I can take out some of these guys. See if I can get him to get poisoned or whatever it is, venom. I don't see anything really affecting him. But he's almost dead. So he's out now. So let's do the last one here real quick and let's try the Vulcan repeater out. This is automatic, which is nice. For some reason, that Tonbogiri, however you pronounce it, that one isn't, which is kind of odd because the other ones are, even the sword. So this is actually decimating him. This is just... Yeah, that was just way easy. So that's the console exclusive weapons. Just kind of tried them out on Eye of Cthulhu there for a minute. Just destroyed him. And I think we'll end it off with Ocram fight. So here we are. I've got the materials to make the suspicious looking skull, which is the summoner for Ocram. This is what it used to require to actually make it. When the update comes out, like I said, this stuff will no longer be in the game, so it's kind of a look back on the kind of ridiculous stuff, like especially the armors and everything, like how much stuff it took to do some of this console exclusive stuff, and if it was even really worth it. But anyway, this is the summoner to make Ocram. Suspicious looking skull. It requires 2 mechanical eyes, 1 mechanical skull, so it kind of makes sense. You got the skull, you got the 2 eyes. It requires 10 bars of either adamantite or titanium, and then just 5 souls of each, souls of night and souls of light. So, I got those all together. Let's make it. Got the 1 summoner. We'll fight him once. Just to end this, because at the end of my series that I made, this world is based off of, I fought him a whole bunch of times. So I'm just going to do it once for this video, just to kind of have a look back on. And when I get prepared, I'll get all my gear and stuff, I'll get geared up and everything, and I'll meet you guys when it's nighttime, and we'll take him out one last time. Alright, so I'm back, I've got all my gear, and it's night, so let's prepare, let's get this Ocram fight out of here, and get the end of this episode. It's a good way to end it on, the console exclusive boss. Let's take him out. I'll try to do it a little bit slow here, so you can kind of experience him a little bit, because I'll be able to wreck him with the stuff that I have. So you notice he throws out these servants, and he shoots out some lasers, kind of charges a little bit, kind of acts like the Eye of Cthulhu a bit, with his servants and his charging ability. Just shooting a couple of lasers, kind of like Retinizer at first. He pretty much just does that the whole entire time. Just keeps throwing out servants, shooting some red lasers. Now when he gets down to half is when he actually gets... He's not too dangerous first stage, but his second stage he actually gets a lot more dangerous. Because he gets really close to you. He charges even worse, even more than he did before. He also throws the servants at you, and you may have noticed the lasers, just a barrage of blue lasers everywhere. And his demon scythes that he shoots out, or they probably aren't exactly demon scythes, but that's what they look like. But anyway, that's what he his second stage is. He actually, I believe he does twice as much damage too, on top of it, with all of his attacks that he does. So he gets pretty berserk in the last stage of his health. It would be kind of interesting to see what they would have added on expert mode, if they would have kept him in the game. Because his second stage is pretty difficult as it is, so it would have been kind of interesting to see expert mode, since that comes out in the next update, 1.3, or at least it should, as far as I know. And but since he's going to be removed from before that, it's just kind of, this is what we got. So this is it. He's on like his final little breath here. Let's get him back into screen here real quick and see him off. Bye-bye, Ocram. Oh, and he actually dropped me the mask too. That's perfect. I don't mind having an extra backup mask to carry over. See, so here's his Souls of Blight. These will actually be removed from the game. From what I've read, they will be replaced with 5 gold apiece, which is what they sell for. So if you have any of them left over, wherever they may be, in a chest or on you or anything, they will be replaced with 5 gold apiece, that's at least what I've been hearing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's one more thing I would like to check out before I end. It's something I never actually got to experience yet in my playthrough of this series, to kind of get a look at everything before it changes. And I'll bring you guys back when I find it, hopefully pretty soon. So here he is at last. Been waiting for a little while here. This is one that I never got to experience yet in my playthrough of the console exclusive stuff. This is the Archwyvern, or Wyvern, however you pronounce it. He's this brown version. He's actually a bit tougher, and I believe he doesn't take any knockback. And something that's kind of interesting is, apparently, did he despawn? I guess he looks like he despawned, maybe. Or he got killed off camera. Interestingly, I guess on the mobile version, he has a 75% chance of dropping the shadow key, which I thought was kind of interesting. But that was the guy I wanted to see real quick, because I never got to experience him in my playthrough. I'm kind of sad that he just kind of buggered off, though. Like, I don't know where the hell he went. But anyway, that's the guy. I was kind of hoping that they'd leave him in the game, because it kind of adds variety to something that's just one thing. I mean, you come up here like very few often, it seems like. I barely came up here. That's why I've only seen him that one time in this playthrough so far. Well, actually, this is a bonus episode, but anyway, let's head back home. I'll bring you guys back when I get to the house, and we'll take a look at everything real quick and in this bonus episode. Well, there you go. I have all this console exclusive stuff in this little trophy room of mine here. I got all the weapons, the armor, the vanity stuff. It's all set out there for display for a little bit of time until it's removed, some of it, or turned vanity, or whatever is going to happen to it. So thanks for joining me. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little walk down memory lane kind of thing, experiencing this console exclusive stuff one last time. So, if you're not a console player and you didn't know about this stuff, or you didn't really kind of get a good look at it, hopefully this has kind of cleared it up for you. And for any other console players like me out there that are going to have to start changing stuff, because we've had this stuff in there for a long time, even in the 360 version. It seems like it's been a really long time until we've had another update. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good to see have some change, but some of you guys might miss out on some of this stuff or feel a little sad about it. But so that's my look at all this console exclusive stuff. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully, so see you later. Bye.